Lich Lord Venethrax, Krik's Warcaster. Few outside the Nightmare Empire imagine the wars of mortal men mean so little to the Dragon Father. They believe the armies of Krix march forth with human motivations, such as greed or love of bloodshed or carnage for carnage's own sake. But these conflicts are as meaningless as the warring of anthills to Toruk and his loyal Lich Lords. Ultimately, only one purpose drives these immortal beings: the destruction of Toruk's dragonic brood, which only then can he be made whole again. In preparation for Lord Toruk and his undying hordes to strike against his treacherous children he spawned more than a millennia ago, one of the 12 Lich Lords has always been charged with the collection of dragonic lore, studying in particular rumors of the dragon's movements and actions. Lich Lord Venethrax has long held this office, but he was not the first to do so. His predecessor's tenure ended shortly, only 2 centuries after the founding of Krix, beneath the talons of the dread dragon Blighterghast. Venethrax, in contrast, has proven a tenacious adversary for the dragons, and he has dedicated 14 centuries of his undying existence to Toruk's wars. Venethrax is supremely well-suited to root out and destroy the Dragonfather's dark progeny. He is given to an obsessive, sometimes narrow focus on his duties, and his every thought is devoted to the details of the Dragonic War. His web of agents are scattered across the mainland, listening for whispers of the dragons and their plans. His minions have gathered the corrupt lore of the ancient kingdom of Mord, studied tales of the dragon Emperor's defeat in Ios, and even tracked down Everblight's legion as it carved a bloody path across western Emerald. Venethrax has conducted scores of operations on the mainlands over the centuries. He has overseen the necropsy of countless blighted creatures and dispatched hundreds of loathsome spawn. Before the Orgoth even landed in Emerald, he led a horde of thralls to root out one of Toruk's progeny, Halfong, after it was wounded in an earlier battle with the Nice and the Northmen. Although Venethrax was thwarted at the last by the worm's resilience and tenacity, and by the annihilation of the rest of his army, he still nearly managed to best it. No other mortal creature walking on Caen can claim to have personally confronted a dragon and fought it to a draw. Recent years have seen an acceleration in plans against Toruk's offspring, as efforts on the mainland have escalated greatly. Late in 608, Venethrax led a risky operation to secure the disembodied attack of a defeated dragon champion named Nidaboros that had long laid hidden below the northern city of Hell's Pass. The lore of this prize stirred great powers to action: the Black Class of the Circle of Boros, Everblight's growing legion, the nation of Signar, and ultimately Blighterghast's Dragon Alliance. Western Emerald was nearly torn asunder by the battles between these forces, during which several Crixian armies were outright obliterated. In the end, the attack of Nidaboros was lost, but Lord Toruk annihilated the dragon Charsong and consumed his attack. This great victory would have never occurred if not for the tireless efforts of Venethrax. In the aftermath of this clash, many of the dragons were injured, including Lord Toruk himself. It falls to Venethrax to bring additional victories to Toruk, pursuing the Dragonfather's wounded progeny into their lairs until all of them are defeated. As each of the Lich Lords scrambles to prove his worth to his master, Venethrax stands at the forefront of this final war, poised to commit Krix's might against its only meaningful enemies.